What's up, y'all? Come on in. Come on in. If you're just jumping on and you know what this is about, go ahead and share it. I don't plan on keeping you long. But I'm going to give it a few minutes and let some people jump on. While you're coming in here, let me know where you're watching from so I can shout you out. Let me know what city you're watching from. Pastor Jack, what's going on, man? Again, I'm going to give it a few minutes, let people jump on. Kelly, what's up? From Lakeland, right up the street. Again, if you're jumping on, just go ahead and share if you already know what this is about. I see some people from Kairos on here. For some reason, I'm not seeing your comments. There we go. Tampa in the house. What's up, Anita? North Carolina in the house. What's going on? Pastor David March. Good to see you, man. Hope you've been well. All right, give it a couple more minutes. See if we can't get up to at least 25 before I begin to share. I know you guys are excited to find out what the big announcement is. There's only a handful of people that know, so you will be the first. You'll be the first on social media. Mike, what's up, man? Jordan, what's up, Jordan? Brenda, what's going on? How are you? Marcus and Rachel, what's up? Listen, if you're on Team Kairos, you already know what to do. Share. You didn't get well, Facebook is being funny right now. I'm not even able to see you guys' comments on Facebook on the platform that I'm using. So Facebook is acting crazy. Brandon, what's going on, man? Long time no see. Come on in. If you haven't shared it yet, go ahead and share. Just share it if you don't even know what it's about, but go ahead and share it just because you're excited. What's up, Christy? Because you're excited for something new. You're excited for a big announcement. And no, my wife is not pregnant. So that's not what the big announcement is. Apostle Chasden, what's going on, man? We got to catch up. Sure, I might have to come to Jacksonville for the Super Bowl because I know you eating some wings and talking football. Yeah, I don't know why nobody got the notification. So we're on Facebook, 2 Facebook channels and YouTube. So I don't know if that's the reason why there's an issue. Yeah, people aren't getting notified. That's why y'all got to share because ain't nobody getting notified. What's up, Pastor Andrew? What's going on, man? People aren't getting notified. My phones are blowing up. I didn't get notified. All right, so I'm gonna kind of start while you guys are coming in here. Let me know where you're watching from, so that I can shout you out, and then we're gonna get into it. This is kind of where I'm gonna start. Just for those of you that don't know, my wife and I have five beautiful children, and we are from Columbus, Ohio. We live in Tampa, Florida now. When I was in Columbus, Ohio, I was a police officer and I was an assistant pastor at the Potter's House. Great church, great pastor, great family. That's really all we knew. Our life got drastically changed in 2008, and nothing has been the same since. God has been moving in our life in such amazing ways. So while we were there at the church serving, in 2015, I became a police officer, and I was serving in the church and a police officer, working third shift. So it kept me really busy. What's up, Brian? Um, but there was a stir that happened on the inside of me around 2012. Um, every time anybody said anything about Florida, if I saw anything about Florida, something would leap on the inside of me. And I didn't understand it at the time. And I remember around that time, I was reading a lot about faith like Abraham. And I just kept feeling this stir in my spirit. And one day I was going to bed, and it was almost like it might have well have been audible. I was getting into the bed, and the Lord said, Abraham, will you go? And he gave me a date. And I knew I needed to go to Florida. I didn't know why, but we had the little bit of money. We put it all together, and that following week, my wife dropped me off at the Columbus airport, and I flew into Orlando. And I walked around the airport for 7 hours praying, trying to figure out what God had me doing there. I was trying to figure out why I needed to be in Florida. And I walked around the airport for 7 hours by myself, not knowing one person in Florida. That was only my second time ever being in Florida, first time flying by myself. And I remember the Lord ended up leading me to get a rental and get a hotel. And I got a hotel, and I stayed up praying, trying to figure out, God, what are you trying to say? What are you doing? And so he ended up leading me to Clearwater, and told me to go to a church called River Hills. And so out of all the places that I could have gone in Florida, I had no clue. I had no hint. I had nothing but the leading of the Lord. So I had to really listen. And it was Saturday night. I remember I went to River Hills Church that night. The Lord told me to go there. And when I went there, there was nobody in the parking lot. This church is huge. There was nobody in the parking lot. And there was one car that was parked in front of the church. And I'm thinking, nobody's even here. God, why in the world are you telling me to come here if nobody's even here? And so, what's going on, Jimmy? Um, and so I remember ringing the doorbell. They had like a speaker out front of the church, and I hit the speaker. And when I hit the speaker, somebody had finally answered, and they said, "How can I help you?" And I asked, I sounded like a crazy person. I was like, "Listen, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and the Lord told me to come here. I really can't tell you any more than that, other than, is it okay if I come in and pray?" And so they ended up, Apostle Raheem, what's going on? So they ended up letting me in the building. And when I told them my story, they said, well, it must be God that you're here, because nobody's ever here on a Saturday night. The only reason we're here is to set up for our anniversary service. And so I went into the sanctuary and I began to pray, and I didn't hear anything. And it was the next day, there was a church service, and I went to the church service. I tried to connect with the pastor to see if maybe the pastor could have a word for me, or the pastor would have some kind of clarity as to the reason why I'm there. I'm thinking, God, am I going to see an angel? What's going to happen? I done came all the way to Florida. I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know anybody here. What's going on? So I'm sitting in the church service, and while I'm in the church service, worship is going on, and worship is good, but I'm still trying to hear God, because I know he didn't send me there for no reason. Now, seems like a very small thing, but it was really the bookmark to our journey. The pastor gets up, and when he gets up to the podium, he said, I have a message that I'm going to preach, and it's titled Faith Like Abraham. When he said that, it was literally like heaven winked at me. It was like God said, job well done. While I was in Florida for 3 days, having no clue what I was doing other than being obedient, God said, job well done. And I knew in that moment I was in the right place at the right time. Long story short, I ended up coming home, continued to serve, became a police officer. Being a police officer was my dream job. When I was 21, I went to go be a police officer, and the Lord told me no. And I'm thankful that I listened, because I realized I was not mature enough to handle some of the things that I would have to deal with as an officer. So I waited. And 7 years later, the Lord said, now you can go. So I was 28 years old in 2015 to go be a police officer in the inner city of Columbus working third shift. I loved it. It was the best job that I ever had. And I was also pastoring at the same time. So here it goes around 2019. My spirit started to leap again when I would hear about Florida. I'm like, Lord, what are you doing? And I started realizing once we got into 2020, we started getting into COVID. The Lord started speaking more, confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. And a lot of the people at work, I was making six figures, making good money. We had our first brand new house we worked hard for. I had a nice sports car. We were just really starting to become comfortable in our finances, comfortable within our calling, comfortable within our identity. And before you know it, the Lord said, it's time for you to transition. And he said, I want you to go to Florida. Revival is coming to the city of Tampa. Come on. If you live in Tampa and you know that there is something stirring up in the spirit, I want you to type in revival. If you believe it, maybe you're not from Tampa, maybe you're from somewhere else, but revival is happening in the city. Something is shaking in the city. What's up, Cheryl? What's going on, guys? CAC, what's going on? Tyler, what's going on? Grandpa Randy, what's going on? Ronnie, you guys jump in here. Let me know where you're watching from. If you haven't shared this, please share. We got Lake Alfred in the house. But if you're in Florida, or maybe you're not in Florida, but you believe that revival is coming to the city of Tampa, I want you to type in revival. I want you to type in revival. So God said, I want you guys to go to Tampa and I want you to believe for revival. So we literally had to leave everything that we had. We had to leave everything that we had. We had to leave law enforcement. And the guys that I worked with, they didn't believe that I would leave. I mean, the benefits were too good. The money was too good. I mean, I would literally get paid $60 an hour to sit at the governor's office for 8 hours and do nothing for my overtime job. It was just a great job, many opportunities. I got to meet so many people. I got to serve in the community. I was rewarded. It was just a great thing. And God said, I want you to leave. So we came to Florida in 2020, not knowing one person other than my sister-in-law and brother-in-law who lived in Sarasota about an hour and a half away. We came here not knowing anyone. And we moved here August of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. And the Lord said, I want you to start looking for a building. I want you to start looking for a place to gather the people. And I thought, God, it's August. We just got here, late August, and you're telling us to look for a building already. It makes absolutely no sense. We figured we'd be there for a time. The Lord said, no, I want you to begin to start gathering people. So around November, we started looking for a building. And we went to a couple building and they didn't work out. Crazy thing is, when we were in Ohio, the Lord, I'm getting to the point, just stay with me. I'm trying to catch people up who don't know our story. So I'm just giving you a snippet. But before we moved to Tampa, the Lord was talking to us a lot about the underground, talking about underground prayer, underground churches, how seeds start underground, the ecosystem growth starts underground, agriculture, it starts underground. And so he's talking to us a lot about underground. And I remember I had a dream that I was preaching in a theater. And then I have a friend, a brother of mine, Apostle Marcus in Texas. He prophesied to me in 2019 on a Facebook Live. He said, I see you looking for a building in your transition. He said, I see you looking for a building and the building didn't work out like you thought it was. And I see you preaching in a theater and there's a projector behind you. What's up, Brittany? What's up, Prophet Anthony? Wayne Stanley, I love you, man. I hope you've been well. But he said there's a projector behind you, and I see you. I'm having a church in a theater, and so when we got here, the churches we were looking at, they didn't work out. And then before you know it, the Lord told me, He said, "Keep looking." So here I am. Yeah, Ronnie, that's right. Underground. Man, I wish I had the picture. A friend of mine in Columbus, Ohio, was inspired at work one day to draw a picture, a picture, and this picture that he drew was a beautiful picture of a city. And then underground, I was in a seed underground praying. And he titled it Underground. And so it's just crazy, all the confirmation. But when we got here, I started looking on Facebook for churches. And I found someone selling a bunch of church chairs. And I remember commenting, I said, hey, we don't need chairs, but we do need a space to use. Would you happen to have a space that we can use? And he said, you can contact Kristen at undergroundtheater@gmail.com. I thought, there is no way. There is no way. So I call her and she said, yeah, we have space available. Our company is called The Underground. So I started looking it up, and they're a organization to help church plants. So it literally fell in our lap in the middle of COVID. Nobody was utilizing it at the time. And the Lord said, now gather the people. So we had an interest meeting. And at our first launch team interest meeting, there was 21 people there. Prophet Sharita, how are you? Apostle Umberto, what's up? What's up? Lasara, I see you on here. Brian, I see you on here. So 21 people came together. I don't know how they heard about us. I don't know what made them show up until after we met. They said, we saw you were coming from Columbus, Ohio. We've been watching your Facebook Live, and we want to be a part of what you're doing. And so for all of 2020, we had services once a month, and we utilized that system to kind of grow our team and build a team so that we can launch in 2021. So crazy thing is, being at University Mall, being at the Underground Theater, because we were new, we had no clue really of the entire demographic of that area. We just knew that God was saying that revival was coming to the city of Tampa, and he had dropped this building in our lap. Well, I'll never forget, after our first service, it blew up. There was a lot of people there. It was like 130 people there. God really moved. It was powerful. I remember I got home and I was just excited. I felt like I accomplished something. I was like, babe, we came here, we didn't know anybody, and we had a successful launch. And I remember how excited I was. And I walked upstairs and I was about to go into my room to change. And right before I crossed the threshold, I'm talking to the Lord. And I'm like, Lord, aren't you excited? We launched, we did it, we did what you called us to do. And I remember feeling the heart of God, and the heart of God was not excited. What he said to me was this. He said, son, he said, I'm always proud of you. He said, but I need you to endure. Come on, type endure in the comments. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, whether you started a business, whether you started a ministry, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a father, whether you're a husband, whether you're a wife, whatever it is that you do, how many of you understand the power of endurance? There is a lot of things that God, there's a lot of things that God has called us to, that it requires us to endure. The main calling that God has given us as Christians is to endure, endure until the end, endure until the end. And so when he said endure, I didn't fully know what he meant. When he said endure, I thought he just meant, just keep going. I didn't know the hell. Come on, somebody. Do I got any church planners in the house that know what I'm talking about? Any apostles in the house, any prophets in the house that know what I'm talking about? When you pioneer something, the resistance that you go through, the warfare that you go through, the principality that you go through. And maybe not everybody goes through this because you're not really butting up against principalities. You may not be butting up against some of the things that the enemy is doing in the region. But when you have a calling on your life, hell begins to recognize that you've arrived in the region. And it seems as if all hell breaks loose. And so we didn't realize what he meant when he said endure for about 2.5 years. God was telling us to endure, and we didn't know the resistance that we would face. We didn't know how tough of a region that we were really in. We didn't really understand the history of the ground that we were in at University Mall. We've been through many, many ups and downs as church planners, but we never stopped moving. This is the key. And I want to just encourage you here for a second before I reveal this big announcement. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what you see. All that matters is what you heard. Listen, you could take my eyes away from me. You can take my feeling away from me. You can take a sense of direction away from me. You can take money away from me and materialistic things, but don't take my ears. Don't take my ears. Don't take my ears. You have to remember what the word of the Lord is, because sometimes you'll be in situations where that is the only thing that you have to hold on to. The Lord could be telling you that you are called to wealth. And in the middle of him saying you're called to wealth, your finances are in the low, in the negative, in the red. I mean, look at I think it was Dang, I'm trying to think of who it was now. I'm losing it. It might have been Gideon. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Gideon who was afraid, and he was hiding in in the wine press, I believe it was. The point is that the Lord said, "You're a mighty man of valor." In the middle of his fear, the Lord called him mighty. You have to know that sometimes the word of the Lord does not match your circumstance. The word of the Lord may not look like what you're going through right now. God could be calling you to high moments and you feel like you're in a low moment. God could be calling you to wealth and you feel like you had been attacked financially. God could call you to great health, but you just got a diagnosis. God could say that you're going to be experiencing this amount of success and you feel like a failure. You have to hold on to the thing that God is telling you to hold on to. First Thessalonians 5:21 says this: hold fast to that which is good. Why would you have to hold firm to something that is good if there wasn't something out there trying to take it? We are in a wrestling match with our promise. We're in a wrestling match with our destiny. We're in a wrestling match with our future, and we have to learn how to fight over the promise of God and not so easily let go. Come on, somebody type in fight in the comment if you know that there is a calling on your life and it took you a fight to get here. Some of you shouldn't even be alive. Some of you shouldn't even be living right now, but you had to endure some heartache, endure some pain, endure some betrayal, endure some demonic attack so that you can get to where God's called you to get to. So we've been through many ups and downs, many ups and downs. We've had many times where we're like, God, what did you move us here for? This is absolutely crazy. In the middle of last year, we went through a church split that was absolutely devastating. It was absolutely traumatic. And I haven't got into the details of that live yet, but soon I will because it's our story, it's our testimony. But nobody knew on social media what we were really going through at the time. Nobody knew the hell that it caused our family. Nobody knew the hell that it caused our home. Nobody knew the hell that it caused us as pioneers. God, why did you call us here? And this is what I've learned. I've learned that there is no way you're going to get to the milk and honey without dealing with giants in the land. There is no way you're going to get to the milk and honey and not know that you have to deal with some giants. But there has to be some grit on the inside of you that understands the power of justice and what God had already said belongs to you. Just because it belongs to you doesn't mean it's not something you have to fight for. Just because it belongs to you doesn't mean that it's going to come easy, because the enemy is in a fight over ownership. And we know that the enemy is a thief. So sometimes it takes a fight to take back the thing that the devil has stole from you. And I just want to prophesy to somebody right now who's been in a fight and it seems like life has stolen great things from you. Life has stolen success from you. I want to prophesy to you right now and let you know to keep on fighting, because just because you don't have it in your hand does not mean it doesn't belong to you. You've got to fight for that thing. You've got to wake up early. You've got to pray. You've got to lay on your faith. You've got to cry out before the Lord. You've got to keep on pushing. You've got to work a job that you don't want to work because that job is preparing you for your future. You got to work under a boss who don't even like you because the Lord is trying to broaden your shoulder to prepare you for something great. Listen, greatness is great responsibility, and you need the shoulders to be able to hold up the thing that God has called you to for your future. And so you got to learn how to fight. And if we didn't learn how to do anything here in the city of Tampa, we have learned how to fight. And I thank God for his word, because before we got here, the Lord took us to Acts 28. And he said, when you get to Tampa, just like Paul got to Malta, and the foreigners were there being hospitable to him, they were being nice to him, they were welcoming him, they were loving the fact that he was there. But as he began to take the sticks of and put them on the fire, the Bible said the snake jumped out because of the heat. And the Lord told us before we got here, he said, I want you to turn up the fire in Tampa by bringing the heat. I want you to turn up the heat. Now, we had no clue at the time until we studied that Tampa actually means sticks of fire. And God began to confirm to us that Tampa didn't need water. We got a lot of soakers here. We got a people who want to bask in the glory and people who want to soak in the glory. But God is saying, I need water and fire. And so God said, I want you to bring the fire. I want you to turn things up in the city of Tampa. And we didn't know that the consequence of turning things up was to get bit. So sometimes when you're going through what seems like hell, it's not because you're doing something wrong. A lot of times it's because of what you're doing right. You turn up the heat and you experience demonic retaliation where the enemy snatches onto your hand and tries to prevent you from what's next, because revival is coming. Something is coming. Something is happening. But watch this. The same people that were hospitable towards Paul, the same people that were taking care of Paul, the same people that were serving Paul and helping Paul were the same people when they saw him get bit by the snake, turned on him. You ever had anybody turn on you before? They turn on you because of what they thought. They turn on you because of what they perceive. And the same people who were loving on him begin to slander him, call him a murderer, and falsely accuse him and say that he did this and he did that. And I knew it all along. But watch this. Watch this. The Bible said after they looked for a while and he didn't die, they changed their mind. This is why you can't give up, because you living is going to change minds. You living is going to change paradigm. You living is going to give people the ability to say, yes, Lord. You living is going to give the people the ability to say, okay, I can do it. The Bible said after they looked for a while and Paul didn't die, they changed their mind. And I'm thankful for the strength of the Holy Ghost. I'm thankful that we serve a mighty God. I'm thankful that the battles that we can't win, he's fighting them for us, because even though the snake bit you, you didn't die. And you've got to let people watch you live. Hear me. There was a time in my life as a church planner where there was certain people, just to be honest, I just wanted to block. I didn't want to see their stuff anymore. I didn't want to see the subliminal messages anymore. I didn't want to see the slander anymore. I didn't want to be confused and vexed in my soul. And the Lord said, no, son, you can't block them, because if you block them, they can't see. And if they can't see, they can't change. So there's some people in your life, you've got to let them see God calls you to live through a snake bite so that they can change. Because the snake bite wasn't for you. The snake bite was for them. The hell that you went through wasn't for you. It was for them. Come on, type it was for them in the comment, because you need to realize that God is so sovereign that he can use an ineffective snake bite not to change you, but to change the people watching you. The people had no clue that what was on the other side of their doubt was revival in their town. Paul was not going to allow a shipwreck, nor was he going to allow a snake bite to stop him from the revival that God had called him to. But he had to continue to stand and learn. Listen, in this season, you got to learn how to shake the snake off. But understand that he didn't shake it off without intention. He shook it off in the fire. And so that means that if you're going to have snakes around you, you got to keep the fire around you. If you're going to have snakes around you, you got to keep the fire around you. That means you got to have some grit. That means that you have to have some authority. That means that you have to not be afraid of what the enemy might be doing to you. As long as you're close to the fire, you have something to shake the snake off into. If you're in a place right now, I just want you to shake it off, because I know that there's probably some people on here that just need to shake some things off of them, that need to shake some mindsets off of them, that need to shake some word curses off of them, that need to shake some traumas off of them, that need to shake some things off of you that you thought was going to kill you. But the venom is not going to get to your heart unless you allow your doubt to let it. You've got to stand firm in faith so that you can shake that snake off. And it wasn't even the snake coming off of him that was the power. It was the fact that he had so much faith and Holy Ghost in him that the venom couldn't penetrate. Thank you, God. I thank you, Lord, that you have given grace enough to have faith that the venom won't penetrate. Because the venom wants to start bitterness. The bitterness wants to start unforgiveness. The bitterness wants to start resentment. The venom wants to start strife. And so you can't allow the venom to get to you, because you have to have faith of what God's called you to. Okay, now let me get into this. Listen, the reason why I brought that up is because I want you to understand that all the things that you've been through is nothing more than training to help you get to your next level. It's nothing but training. The fight that you're in is what you need for your next level. I know you don't like it. I know it's uncomfortable, but the very thing that you've been praying for in the name of a promise requires a process. And the prerequisite of every promise is the process. Without the process, the promise will crush you. And so you need the strength of the in the process to prepare you for the promise. And so God has brought us through a lot of things in the last 3 years. I'm talking crazy stuff. I'm talking demons in our closet. My wife heard something in the middle of the night in the spirit, and she woke me up, and we both were up, and there was literally a demon standing in our closet trying to spy on us. We've dealt with monitoring spirits showing up. I mean, crazy things that most people probably wouldn't believe, but we had to go through what we had to go through so that we understand how to fight. Come on, y'all. I pray this is encouraging you to fight. You got to learn how to stand. You got to learn how to endure. You got to learn how to remember the word of the Lord and have some kind of resilience. You might knock me down and I might be back on my back, but I'm going to get back up again because he's never seen the righteous forsaken. And if you fall, you're going to get back up again. And so stand up. If you're not standing up, I need you to stand up because your life is, there's people depending on you living. There's people depending on you living. And so we went through all that we went through. It was so bad that we had to play YouTube because we didn't have worship anymore. We had to play YouTube on the screen with lyrics up there for 4 months. People started leaving the church. 4 months. We didn't skip a beat. We kept going. We said, we're going to keep doing what you called us to do, and we're not going to let people dictate. We're not going to let people dictate the call on our life. We're not going to let people dictate the pace of grace that is on our life. So we kept going. We kept plowing. We kept praying. We kept gathering. We kept believing. We kept building people up. And all in the while, we're still praying for a new building. We're still praying for God to do something new because the building that we were currently in was limiting us a lot of things. We weren't able to have child ministries. There was a lot of things that we couldn't necessarily do in the community that we needed to do. We didn't really have much access to that area. The amount of warfare was absolutely crazy, but we continued to keep fighting. But we knew that we needed to expand. And so we kept praying. We started going to this building. We went to that building. We went to this building. It didn't work out. We went to that building. It didn't work out. It seemed like nothing was working out. Hear me, y'all. It seemed like nothing was working out. We were like, God, we feel the pressure of us getting another space. We can feel the pressure of us starting a school. The Lord told us before we moved to Tampa that we would start a school, that we would have, that we would start a preschool, and that we would continue to move our way up. As you parents that are on here know, it seems like our kids are at school more than they're at home. How in the world are we going to raise children up in the way they must go when they're at these crooked public schools that are brainwashing them with craziness? So we want to create a school that, one, will create employment opportunities, and two, that will have a safe place for kids to grow in the word. Not just grow in things that don't matter, but grow in the word, to be educated in life and educated in the word of God. So we started putting these things together, but this couldn't happen at the current location that we were at. So we were praying for expansion. It seemed like nothing was working out. And we started giving up low key. Honestly, I just like, God, we're going to continue to trust in you, but I just don't see anything opening up. Nothing seems to be happening, but we're listening to your word, and you're telling us to look for a building. You're putting the pressure on us to look for a building. And for months and months and months, nothing is happening. We don't understand why this is happening. So hear me. One phone call is all it took. One phone call is all it took that changed the trajectory of where we are, that brought a level of expansion. Why am I saying one phone call? Because you need to realize that the thing that you are praying for could be one phone call away. Don't give up. The thing that you could be waiting for is just one phone call away. I realized that just one phone call can change everything. And so we're believing to do big things in the city. We have big dreams. For some of you that are on here, that you're at Kairos, or maybe you follow Kairos a lot, there is a lot of big things on the inside of us. But we understand the power of our seed season. A tree is a seed first. And we didn't come to Tampa expecting to be a full-grown tree. We came to Tampa knowing that we were going to be a seed. But we knew that in our seed form, it was going to take a lot of work. Now, let me show you this video. of what God did and what God is doing. And we're so excited about this opportunity. I want to show you this video. So if you're on here and you haven't shared yet, please share. I see people jumping on here. Let me see. We got Crystal in the house. We got Jordan in the house. Jordan, we definitely got to catch up. Crystal, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a while. I hope you're good. Let me show you guys this video of what God is doing. And I want to show you this video, not just to show you what God is doing, but I want to give you an opportunity to get involved with what God is doing here at Kairos. Again, like I said, God is doing amazing things here in the city of Tampa, and Tampa is ripe for revival. But understand, we want to be ready for revival when revival comes. It's not just a matter of getting ready, it's a matter of being ready. And I believe that the Lord is training the church and preparing the church for a revival here in the city of Tampa. So I want you to check this video out.
This is where we need your help. We're asking for you to partner with us. We launched our church in January of 2021 at University Mall. University Mall was a great place, but there were many limits. In this place, we will be able to reach the community more and establish what we need to have our own building. We are believing in this sanctuary, we will be able to serve the community, and we will see people get saved, healed, and delivered. We also have a heart for our next generation, our Kairos kids. We did not have the space at University Mall to accommodate a full kids ministry. This is also going to create an opportunity for us to create vision, policy, and procedures for a school that we are planning to build once we have our own building. We desire to have a full-time preschool called Shine Academy, and we cannot wait for that. And with your help, you can make this possible for the kids at Kairos and the kids in the community. Now, we broke up the opportunity to give in 3 different categories. Future, which will help us fund our own building here within the city of Tampa. 2, our community, which will help us to provide for the community with food, outreach events, back to school, Christmas toys for needy families, and much more. And then our 3rd category is operations, which will give us the ability to accommodate what we need as far as materials so that we can serve the community every time that we gather, which includes parking equipment, cones, parking vests, parking wands, umbrellas, canopies. Because we sit right at an intersection, it gives us the ability to be visible to the everyday traffic that is in the area. And we want to do the best that we can to let them know that we are a space where many will encounter Christ, experience transformation, and change the world. We are just 11 minutes away from downtown. And as I began to study the demographics of the area, my heart began to be burdened, finding out that there are thousands and thousands of homeless people in Tampa. Not only that, but there are over 3,000 children that do not have homes. And we want to reduce that number because we are, as the church, a solution to that problem. But we need your help to be able to do that. We will be partnering with Crest Community and believing that this partnership will help us to expand the ability to impact the community.
We thank you in advance for your generosity and willingness to give to the city of Tampa. Come on, y'all. Isn't that crazy? Literally one phone call, and God changed everything. Isn't God good? Listen, he is faithful. He is faithful. So this is what we're asking. There's a lot of things that we want to do here in the city of Tampa, and we've been here as an established church for 2 years. We just had our year anniversary at the end of January, but we've not even started yet. What God is doing in the city of Tampa is literally blowing my mind. The amount of connections that we've been able to make Just in a short time of us being here, from meeting with pastors once a month, 40 pastors, senior leaders in the city, once a month, to having pastors come together. Last month, about 175 pastors came together to talk about unity here in the city of Tampa. I believe that the Lord is beginning to expand the net in the city of Tampa so that we can be ready for the big catch. And I want to get you guys involved with how you can be a help to what God is doing. Listen, you can text the word one Tampa to 53555. 53555, and you can help. You can see our giving campaign, you can read the literature on there, but I wanted to share my heart with you so that you can see all that God is doing in the city of Tampa. And then if you follow us on social media, whether it be on my channel on Facebook, Kairos's channel on Facebook group page, or you can follow us on YouTube. We want to keep you updated with all the things that we're doing here in the city of Tampa to serve the community. But we are truly believing that God is going to begin to bless us so that we can end up having our own building. This building that we're going to be utilizing, we're going to get to use on Saturday nights. We'll have it one time a week. But our goal here is to be able to be in a place that can grow. And the reason why it's a place that can grow is because at University Mall, which again, we didn't know this until we started talking to people and finding out that a lot of people would turn their nose up at University Mall. It was in a very, very bad area. It's right next to Suitcase City. It's just in a place that people aren't going to bring their friends. They're not going to bring their families to. They're not. The police are always in the parking lot. It's at night on a Saturday. The police are always around. People smoking weed and dealing drugs and all kinds of stuff. But it's been a great place for us to build a team of people who don't care what the atmosphere is like. They just want more of God. And we've been able to see God do amazing things. But now that we're in this new space, in a new area, we're believing that God will begin to expand us and get us to a place where we can eventually have our own building. But we want to do it with excellence as we begin to plan and prepare for having a school one day, for having our own building one day. And God is just moving. He's doing amazing things. And I wanted to give this big announcement. What's up, man? I wanted to give this big announcement to you guys because it's an exciting thing for what's happening with us and coming here to Tampa. And we know that we have a lot of supporters, we have a lot of friends, a lot of families, a lot of people from all over the world who watch us and follow us and have been blessed by the ministry of Kairos. We are an established 501c3 nonprofit organization since 2020. So anything that you give is, tax deductible. But we want to give you an opportunity to just, sow into what God is doing here in the city. We understand that, a lot of people who aren't in Tampa would love to be able to help what's going on in Tampa. But because you can't be here, you have the ability to be here by way of sowing. So I encourage you, listen, if you're in the chat right now and you believe in what God is doing here in the city of Tampa, I want you to type, I believe. I want you to type, I believe. What's up, Joshua? Come on, guys. God is moving. Tyler Faust, man of God, thank you so much for your giving. People are starting to give, and we are so thankful. I just want to give it some time because I want to give you guys an opportunity to just really sow in the seed form of where we're at. Thank you, Tyler, for your giving. Let me see if I can do something here. I've never done this before, so I don't know if it'll work, but we're about to find out. We're about to find out. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to pull this up for you guys. Tyler, man, you don't even know how much that blesses us. Seriously, thank you so much, and I pray it returns back to you 100-fold. All right, let's see if we can make this work. Almost there. What's up, Pastor Frank? What's going on, man? I also put the link in the chat. So I believe you can click the link, or you can just text the word one Tampa. Anita, thank you so much. I think that was you just now. Okay, let's see if this works. Um, I don't think it's gonna work. I was gonna do it live, but it's not working. But we got people giving is rolling in, so I encourage you guys to, at least if you're not able to give today, that you would pray about it. And what's up, Darren? What's up, Les? That you would pray about it and ask the Lord what He might have you do. What's up, Just? Let me see. I guess. Thank you, guys. The bells, thank you. Jordan, thank you so much. Again, Tyler and Stephanie, thank you guys. That's really a blessing. Jordan, we can't wait till you get to Florida. I can't remember what month you said you were coming. Come on, we're waiting for that $100,000 seed, the $100,000 wire transfer. If you need info for a wire transfer, just shoot me a DM. I got you. JB, what's up, man? Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, also know too, giving is a spiritual thing. You may not have $500, you may not have $1,000, you may not have $100. Um, so really, whatever you feel that you have in your heart, that's all that matters. You guys, if you're on here now, if you would just share this if you haven't already, because there probably will be people on the replay who will have an opportunity um, to watch this and support what God is doing here in the city of Tampa. If you're on Team Kairos, of course, please share. Pastor Gio, what's going on? Ryan Oli, what's up, man? How you been? Sorry if I'm seeing your stuff late. Apostle Nate, what's up, man? Listen, I need to call you soon because we need to talk about the possibilities of doing a joint service at the end of the month. Our last service at University Mall is the last Saturday of this month, which is February 24th. First service in our new space is going to be March 2nd. We can't wait. We're still going to be going Saturday nights until we have our own space in our own building. But that's what we're going to be doing. We're believing for amazing things to happen. Healing is going to happen. Deliverance is going to happen. We're going to keep preaching the word. We don't believe in the fluffy stuff. People need saved. People need healed. People need delivered. Thank you, Justin, man. That means a lot. It means a lot. We're excited. We are excited. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Such a blessing. Thank you for your support. I feel like one of these young kids on TikTok, they be on here having battles and stuff. You guys ever seen that on TikTok? They have battles and stuff like that. People give them like digital squirrels and they cost like 10 cents, and people literally make a living doing that on TikTok. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. What in the world? This world is just getting crazy. Anybody know what I'm talking about on TikTok? Where they have those battles? Holly, thank you so much. Holly, the Floridian and Ohioan at the same time. You can be a Floridian and Ohioan all at the same time. And see y'all playing games and acting like you never seen that on TikTok. Christy, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that, Christy? People acting a fool. Come on, y'all. Pray. I need the saints to pray. get to 10,000 in 5 minutes. We're going to set this goal and we're going to bring change to the city of Tampa. And I'm excited. I'm excited that you get to be a part of it. Yeah, Christy, you know what I'm talking about. I literally sat there and watched two people battle and make money from digital squirrels and digital hearts and digital zebras I'm like, what in the world? And people literally get on TikTok and make a living having battles with each other back and forth all night. And people just continue to keep giving their money because they want to see their name pop up for a digital squirrel. Like what? Right, Amy. We got to beat the 10-cent TikTok squirrels. Yeah, hats and roses. I'm like, somebody send me a rose, send me a rose. Oh, I got a hat. And I'm like thinking in my mind, people are really paying these people, and these people are making thousands of dollars having battles on TikTok. Maybe I need to start doing that. Listen, guys, we're so thankful for those of you who have decided to support what God is doing here. Now that you have access to the giving platform, you can decide to give whenever you want. You can set up recurring payments if you would like to support us. We're going to have this fundraiser running for a year so that we can hit our $190,000 goal. But our goal is $30,000 by next Saturday. So that's our immediate goal. Our long-term goal is $190,000 or $150,000 for long term, so that you get to follow along with us. You get to see how many supporters we have. You get to see how much money we've raised. So next month, we're believing that you'll look in there and you'll see $50,000 raised, and we'll be giving you guys updates and showing you what we're doing in the city based on your generosity and what you've been able to give and support us with here in the city. So listen, I love you guys. Again, once we get off of here, feel free to remember you can text one Tampa to 53555 anytime. You can go back and watch the live, click the link, you can scan the QR code, whichever is easy for you. But I encourage you to share this at least. Share this on your social media pages, share this with your friends, share this with your coworkers. Who knows? You might work for a company who wants to give to a nonprofit organization that is doing great things in the city. You just never know. So I encourage you to share it with your people, your family, and if the Lord impresses upon your heart to give and support what God is doing here in the city of Tampa, I encourage you to do that. Listen, I love y'all. What's up, man? What's up, Jonathan? How are you? We got Apostle Kendall in the house. He's Pastor Kendall, but he's really Apostle Kendall in the house. I told him he told me we were on the phone earlier. He said, "Yeah, I'll call you back." I said, "Don't call me between 8 and 9 because I'll be on live." So here he is jumping on around 9:04. That's my guy, though. That's my guy. I'm doing good, Jonathan, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. All right, y'all. Listen, I believe in the next couple days we can get this up to 15,000. Listen, if you gave, we appreciate you. If you didn't give, please pray for us. Please pray for us and pray that God will put something in your hand that can bless what God is doing here in the city. Listen, I love y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you haven't already, share this. Let me know where you're watching from and let your friends enjoy this amazing testimony and story of what God does. One phone call can change your whole life. Listen, I love y'all. Have an amazing night and happy Friday for you guys tomorrow. Peace.